Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Check out Honeytrap. Check out Honeytrap. Check it out. There was a gentleman in my comments. He said, I gotta give him a shout out. I think it's Shinpo or Shinpo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he said, hey, Ron, check out this movie on Netflix, Honeytrap. It talks about many of the things that you cover. So, I got Netflix on about too many devices, but I said, look, let me just see if it's on YouTube, because I know somebody uploaded it. Sure enough, right there, and there's a link in the description box, right? But I was checking it out, and I was like, oh, man, this is the joint. Now, I ain't going to go like a whole synopsis of it, but basically the story was, it was a young woman from Trinidad. She went to England to move in with her, I would use the word neglectful mother, but as we find out later in the story, she didn't really have any other options, right? So she moves in with her mother, and then, she goes to the local school, hangs out with the fast girls, and, gradually, at some point she meets this dude, this pretty boy thug type, right? But even before then, she had met this nice guy type, right? So that's, that was basically the movie is how they interacted. But I ain't going to give a spoiler, but I'll just say it was a news story in England back in 2008, 2009. Might have been earlier. I'm not sure. But it was based on true events. But it showed... Well, I'm gonna give a slight spoiler. The nice guy gets killed because that's part of that's part of what I wanted to talk about in this joint, right? And the thing was, she set up the nice guy to be killed at the behest of the pretty boy thug, right? And I was like, you know what? This does talk about everything I touch on, even the imprint, especially the imprint. Right, especially at least part of the imprint, because people who watch my videos on the imprint know I say a woman's imprinted by the first 3 guys that she's had sex with. So, but in this one, it wasn't technically correct, but it had the general gist of it. She got imprinted by this thug, but then it was followed up by the nice guy. But the dynamic was, she was willing to do anything for the thug dude, right? She was just all into him, right? And even halfway tried to kill herself when she found out that she wasn't the only woman in that thug dude's rotation, right? And then, you got the nice guy dynamic, dude, even though she was like so-so with him, but dude was still chasing her, and ultimately trying to be a Captain Sav'em led him to his death. And I was watching it. I was like, man. Everything. Even just starting with that imprint thing, right? Even just starting with the imprint, because I've had some people on here who try to say, they ain't believe in the imprint or something. But shoot, anybody who's really attuned, they've seen women get hung up on that first dude. That's why even to this day, you get a lot of women who've been married for years. They've been married for years, got kids, but they'll break up with that guy, or they'll break up with the guy they've been happily married to, or quote unquote happily married to, and get back with that imprint. I know women now in their 50s talking about they got back with some dude they dealt with in high school. That's how deep it is. So it had that in there. Had a little bit of how she even got to that point, because there were hints that her father was a molester. So, and actually that's part of the imprint too that probably made her open to, this thug. So I was like, man, okay. And there's a lot of stuff, just the interactions, what she was willing to do, women willing to fight over like this one guy. And even how the thug dude was carrying the whole thing. If you really watch, you sit there and watch it. He threw a little bit of play. Like, it was like a scene, like, because apparently the thug dude was also a rapper and stuff, at least in the movie. I don't think it was that way in real life. But at least in the movie, he was a rapper, and, he first met her because he let her be in on a music video. So he gave her a little bit of play there, but then when she saw him someplace else, he played her perfectly. And this is for some of y'all guys think y'all gotta be chasing women down and all of that. He played her like, who are you? I mean, like he didn't remember, and then gradually let her in, and she was just standing there and stuff. I was like, that's how the game's really played. I was like, yeah, because dudes, the really top dudes, the dudes that women be going after, man, they don't be chasing women like that. They throw the women like a little bit of play. They might give a little bit, be like, hey, how you doing? But the women be the main ones like pushing everything. And I keep trying to tell guys that, and you'll see that in Honeytrap. He was playing her off perfectly. That was almost textbook Rom Wills style. Seriously, that was textbook how he was playing her off. I was like, man. And she damn near pretty much high. And all he had to do was just sit back and chill. He knew he had it because she basically chose him. I was like, man. But then you had the nice guy type, right? I mean, she was chill with him. Like at first, when she first met him, she was kind of like, but then everybody else was like, him and all that. That played to that peer pressure thing. I've talked about that in some videos before. A lot of times, in fact, I had a couple, man. The brother who suggested this video, who suggested I watch Honeytrap, he was right. Because that peer pressure thing, none of her girls were feeling him, and he wasn't popular with the dudes. In fact, they were calling him a homo and stuff. I mean, they basically kicked him out of their spot. They just didn't like him. He wasn't one of them and stuff. And, one thing about women, especially young women, older women maybe might grow out of it, but they kind of the same thing. But younger women are notorious for this. If, like, they'll meet a dude, and he could be like a nice guy type, good guy type, and she actually like him, right? And she feeling him and everything. But then if her girls see him together and they don't like him, if the girls don't like him, they'll get in her ear and everything. That's why I said I had a video. And I had so many, you know what, I'm not even going to put some of these videos. I've talked about all of this stuff so many damn times. I said it, but I did say in one video, I said, if you want to pull a woman, you basically got to pull her and her girlfriends. Because if you pull her, but her girlfriends don't really like you, that's your ass. Because they will be in her ear, they will say something. And even though women try to say to the otherwise, women are very much moved by peer pressure. And they ain't just like hood girls or high school girls. There are plenty of women in their 30s and 40s who probably meet a good guy who got them and, even able to satisfy them sexually. But because that guy doesn't have some type of status or, because her girlfriends don't like how he look or something, they get in her ear. Now, it ain't to say there's a few who just gonna go on and do their thing, but they'll keep that shit on the low. But that was part of it. Man, it was so much. Man, it was just the manipulation. Because there was a scene, she had broke up with the thug, and then, basically she got with the nice guy and basically put him in a position to use him to get the thug back to use, because she actually got fixed up. Got a hair piece, stole a like nice sexy dress, then went to this place she knew the pretty boy thug was gonna be at and made sure as soon as she saw him and stuff, got all close to the nice guy. And I was just like, man. But that's some real game on there, dude. That's some real game because see, a lot of guys gotta always know where they stand with a woman. Gotta know. And I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. I'm gonna do a car video on that so I can get real raw with it. But that dude didn't know where he stood with a woman. And on my private site, on my subscription site, I got into it deeper and told dudes how to play that. Just as an aside, I really don't give y'all any game on here. I just talk about things. I saved that for my brotherhood. You gotta be a part of my brotherhood on there for me to really give you game. Either that or get private coaching. Because I just talk general stuff on here. Because as I learned, just as an aside, as I learned from this older dude who's been in this relationship thing a long time, I mean, this dude actually told me, he said, if he don't see 500 in his PayPal every single day, every day, that's a bad day for him. So, and that's at a minimum. That ain't even a height. That's a minimum. That dude, and he said one thing. He said, don't give away too much shit for free. Some people think I'm giving away shit for free. I'm just giving y'all a little bit. But anyway, right? Yeah, that. I mean, she just straight played him. And you know what? That kind of showed something with one weakness with some of these thug types too. That showed one weakness. Sometimes they're gonna get overly jealous over some woman. They should just let it go if you ain't messing with her, you know. And then get mad because it kind of showed there's a subtle conflict between, you know, in Rom terminology, select and non-select guys. I mean, that's some real talk. Anybody who grew up in the hood or something like that, especially know that. Well, any place really. You know, if like some real fine woman get with the dude who's not considered cool or select. I mean, not only is that dude dealing with the girlfriends, but you dealing with other jealous dudes and stuff like, yeah, why you with him? Why you can do better, be all up in her ear and stuff. And then some of the more crazy ones are going to try to kill you or something. I actually know of a situation, I can't get into it too much publicly, where a dude killed somebody because he was jealous of them. Because his girls, the killer's girls and stuff, and it was a couple dudes who killed this dude. The killer's girls were checking out this one dude. So that's some real game there, man. I'm gonna just tell you what. Overall, with Honeytrap, just sit there, try not to get triggered, because I guarantee somebody gonna identify with everyone in there. And as I told people on my private site, I wasn't like, especially when I was young, man, I wasn't like the dude hanging with the thugs and stuff, man. Even though some people like to think that. I was the one counting their money. So y'all could take that away. Nah, but I was kind of that dude who could hang with both groups. I can hang with like the non-cool guys, nobody be tripping. Hang with the thugs, nobody be tripping, man. That was me. That's how come I see all angles of this shit, man. But nah, that's some real stuff. That's some real dynamics in there. So if you really want to just see a visualization of many of the things I talk about, even some of the deeper stuff like the imprint, just go check out Honeytrap, all right? Like I said, there's a link in the description box. So anyway, right? That's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.